Trump has finally gotten his wish after months of referring to the Kennedy Center after himself. Remember this slip up just a few weeks ago?
And you have a big event on Friday at the Trump Kennedy Center. Oh, excuse me, at the Kennedy Center. Pardon me, such a terrible mistake.
Ha ha. Funny. On Friday, the Kennedy Center installed his name onto the exterior of the building just a day after the White House announced that the Kennedy Center board had voted in favor of the renaming. Now, this move is already raising legal questions, and that's because experts say that only Congress can change the center's official name, and that this name change actually violates the norm for memorials. Even so, it appears the president is moving full speed ahead with his familiar pattern of slapping his name onto everything and anything. Joining us now, MS Now contributor and author of the Old Goat Substack newsletter, Jonathan Alter. Jonathan, it's good to have you with us.
Hey guys.
It is no surprise that Trump wants to have his name plastered on everything. This has a lot of North Korean vibes to it, where you have like the president's name and the family name on everything that is state-owned, that belongs to the state. But how unprecedented is this?
Well, let's take the world first. I mean, the Bolshoi Ballet is not called the Stalin Bolshoi Ballet or the Putin Bolshoi Ballet. So those two guys didn't think they could do it with cultural institutions. The Great Hall of the People is not called the Mao Great Hall of the People. So even those horrendous dictators had a little bit of shame about this. In the United States, it's completely unprecedented. So just to talk about presidents for a second, the Washington Monument was built 50 years after George Washington's death. Same thing for the Lincoln Memorial. The Jefferson Memorial, which was put up by Franklin Roosevelt, was 100 years after Jefferson's death, more than 100 years. And in the case of John F. Kennedy, it was only 8 years after his death, but because it was so traumatic for the United States, and because the cultural center was his idea and done in his administration, they dedicated it to him. I think the Kennedy family, by the way, has a very good civil lawsuit. They have standing for that, so you might hear about that over time. Remember, the immunity decision by the Supreme Court, it gave Donald Trump impunity in violating criminal law, but it doesn't protect him from civil action.
Well, to that point, his niece actually posted on X already reacting to this. This is Kerry Kennedy saying, 3 years and 1 month from today, I'm going to grab a pickaxe and pull those letters off that building, but I'm going to need help holding the ladder. Are you in? So it seems like the family is already preparing to do something to restore this. I'm curious, though, we've talked a lot in the past as a team about Trump's sort of obsession with the cultural sphere, his desire to sort of be recognized and celebrated, and we're seen as a tastemaker even in those spaces. But to some extent, as you see him do stuff like this at the Kennedy Center, all the changes at the White House, all the gold Home Depot decals and things that have gone up, is it also just about sort of showing the American people, the political establishment in D.C., that he can break all these norms, and there's very little in the interim you can actually do about it?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. And you say tastemaker, he can also set new indoor records for bad taste. But part of it is that sense of I can do what I want. I am the state. If the president does it, it's not illegal, which is something Richard Nixon said to David Frost, and Trump strongly believes. So a lot